What happens to a man's testosterone when he stops ejaculating for 90 days? The shocking truth no one told you. Did you know that some men claim they feel like superheroes after 90 days of no ejaculation? But does science back that up? Or is it all just a myth? Before we dive deep, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe if you're curious about what really happens to a man's testosterone when he abstains from ejaculating for 90 days. Also, drop a comment. Do you believe abstaining can increase testosterone, or is it all hype? The hype behind NoFap and testosterone. It's one of the internet's most controversial trends, NoFap, or deliberately abstaining from ejaculation for extended periods. Proponents promise everything from higher testosterone, laser focus, boosted masculinity, even alpha male status. Some even treat it like a spiritual awakening. But what does science actually say? Does abstaining for 90 days really transform your hormone levels? Or is the benefit more psychological than physiological? In this deep dive, we'll explore what happens hormonally in the first 7, 30, 60, and 90 days. Scientific evidence for or against testosterone increases. Personal stories and psychological effects. The placebo factor and its surprising power. What you should expect if you try this challenge. Let's break this down by time period to see what's actually happening in your body and mind. Before we get into the hormonal timeline, make sure to like this video if you've ever been curious about NoFap or testosterone. Hit that subscribe button to keep getting content that cuts through myths with real science. Day 1 to 7. The dopamine detox begins. Surprise stat: testosterone levels spike by up to 145.7% on day 7, according to a 2003 Chinese study published in Journal of Zhejiang University. That sounds insane, right? But let's break it down. This study observed that after just 7 days of abstinence, testosterone levels hit a peak, before returning to baseline shortly after. However, that spike doesn't continue. Many men misinterpret this as an ever-increasing rise in testosterone over months, which the science doesn't support. What's really happening? In the first week, your body is undergoing a dopamine reset. Porn and frequent ejaculation overstimulate the brain's reward system. Removing that stimulus gives your dopamine receptors a chance to regain sensitivity. This means that while testosterone might not skyrocket permanently, your motivation, focus, and drive might improve, just from rebalancing your brain chemistry. Expert insight. Dr. Andrew Huberman, neuroscientist at Stanford, explains that dopamine control is more powerful than people realize, controlling everything from willpower to libido. Personal note: during my first 7 days without ejaculation, I didn't feel more manly, but I did feel clearer and more in control. That alone felt like a hormonal shift, even if blood tests said otherwise. Day 8 to 30. The battle of willpower and hormones. You've made it past the dopamine crash. Now what? Here's the truth. Testosterone levels begin to normalize after the initial spike. A study published in Archives of Sexual Behavior, 2007, found that masturbation frequency had minimal long-term effect on testosterone levels. But behavioral changes, like more exercise and social dominance, could. So what's happening in this phase? Increased energy, not necessarily due to testosterone, but because of mental clarity and reduced overstimulation. Improved sleep. Frequent ejaculation, especially via porn, can disrupt melatonin and cortisol rhythms. Removing that helps stabilize your circadian rhythm. Better workouts. Many NoFap adherents report stronger gym performance. Again, likely due to improved discipline and dopamine balance, not raw testosterone. Some men report they feel more attractive, social, and dominant in this phase, but scientists attribute that more to confidence than hormones. My experience: I began making better eye contact, naturally waking up earlier, and crushing my workouts, not because I was overflowing with testosterone, but because I wasn't constantly draining my mental energy on screens. Day 31 to 60, the flatline and identity shift. Here's where things get weird. Many men report a phase called the flatline, a period of zero libido, emotional numbness, and even minor depression. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But neurologically, this is your brain recalibrating. Porn-induced sexual dysfunction affects your dopamine reward circuits. Removing that stimulus leads to a short period where your brain doesn't know how to respond to normal cues anymore. You might feel dead inside temporarily. This is actually progress, not failure. Neuroscience suggests that dopamine circuits require 4 to 8 weeks to fully recalibrate. This is backed by research on addiction recovery, showing similar timelines for behavior normalization. Testosterone here isn't necessarily increasing, but your response to testosterone might be improving. Think of it as upgrading the software, not just the hardware. Real-life example. John Sanmez, a productivity coach, reported zero libido for nearly 60 days before experiencing a complete reversal with higher confidence, social drive, and sexual control. Day 61 to 90. Integration and real hormonal balance. By now, your body and brain have adapted to the new normal. Energy feels natural, not manic. Libido returns, stronger and more focused. Confidence feels earned, not faked. What does the science say at this stage? A 2016 review in Frontiers in Psychology noted that psychological empowerment and self-control improve hormonal balance indirectly, even if testosterone itself remains relatively constant. Dopamine receptor density increases, improving motivation and pleasure response. Men start to exhibit what researchers call dominance behaviors, linked more to testosterone sensitivity than sheer volume. Personal truth. I felt less desperate, more focused, and emotionally stable. The idea that I need sex to feel alive faded. I became proactive instead of reactive. And that's the real benefit. Not magical testosterone growth, but learning how to channel what you already have. Key takeaways and myth-busting. Let's be clear. No scientific evidence supports a continuous increase in testosterone for 90 days, but there are short-term spikes followed by long-term improvements in dopamine regulation, emotional control, and discipline. Now let me sum up what actually happens to your testosterone, your energy, and your mindset across the full 90 days. From day 1 to day 7, you might feel a surprising surge, and that's not just in your mind. Scientific studies have shown testosterone can actually spike around day 7. Your brain's dopamine system is just starting to reboot, so you'll probably feel a mix of cravings, restlessness, and a strange sense of motivation kicking in. Between day 8 and day 30, your testosterone levels begin to normalize. That early spike fades, but here's the interesting part. Your energy goes up. You'll likely feel more stable, more focused, and start to notice improvements in your sleep and workouts. Your mind's clearing up, and you're starting to feel in control. Then comes day 31 to 60, and this is where it gets weird for a lot of guys. It's what people call the flatline. Your libido might drop. You may feel emotionally numb or even question why you're doing this. But this isn't a failure, it's a reset. Your brain is relearning how to respond to real-life stimulation instead of artificial highs. Finally, from day 61 to day 90, things really begin to click. You're not chasing urges anymore. You're leading them. Your libido returns, but it's focused and calm. Your energy feels consistent. You don't feel like a slave to your impulses. And while your testosterone levels may not have increased much, the way your body uses testosterone becomes way more efficient. So in short, you're not just gaining hormones, you're gaining control, clarity, and a whole new mental edge. Final thoughts. Is NoFap worth it for testosterone? So what happens to your testosterone when you stop ejaculating for 90 days? It doesn't turn you into a god, but it does train you to master your impulses, improve your dopamine sensitivity, and let your existing testosterone work more effectively. And that might be even more powerful than any hormonal spike. Whether you're in it for the physical benefits, spiritual discipline, or mental clarity, the 90-day no ejaculation journey is less about your hormones and more about your identity. Call to action and engagement wrap-up. If you found this eye-opening, smash that like button. Share this with a friend who's tried or is considering the 90-day NoFap challenge. Don't forget to subscribe for more no-nonsense breakdowns of men's health myths and truths. Comment below. Have you tried this? Did it change your life, or was it just mental hype? Thanks for watching, and remember, mastery begins with self-control.